The phone vibrates on a sticky diner table. A message lights the screen. "Don't come tomorrow. It's not appropriate." A fork slips from Aaron's hand and hits the floor. No one looks up. The silence decides everything. That night, in his one-room apartment, Aaron sits on the edge of the bed, uniform jacket folded too carefully beside him. The family group chat keeps refreshing, smiling faces. Flowers, champagne glasses raised. Mother's Day brunch. A photo alone is there. The chair beside his mother is empty. He types. Stops. Deletes every word. He locks the phone and lets the dark settle. Years ago, she told him he was meant for more. Years later, more became a reason to erase him. The next morning, he works while the city celebrates. Bolts tightened, schedules checked. A man sneers at his uniform and laughs softly. Aaron doesn't react. He remembers everything. At his mother's house, laughter spills out onto the lawn, gifts open. Compliments fly. Someone asks where Aaron is. She smiles small and quick. He's busy with his job. The word lands like a stain. That night, Aaron opens a folder on his laptop. Documents. Certifications. Emails never forwarded to home. He deletes his social accounts, changes his number, sells what he can't carry. He doesn't announce it. He simply disappears. Months pass. Aaron sits at a glass table now, suit tailored, voice calm. People listen when he speaks. When he points at problems, they move to fix them. When he stays silent, rooms wait. At night, his mother leaves voicemails. At first angry, then confused, then afraid. He never responds. One evening, he studies a foundation report on his screen. His mother's pride, her name engraved everywhere. The numbers are careless. Not criminal, just sloppy enough to collapse under light. Aaron turns the light on. He sends files. No commentary, just truth. At a fundraiser, applause freezes mid-clap. A tablet is pushed into his mother's hands. Her smile cracks. Questions start circling. Donors pull back. Board members resign, for personal reasons. Invitations stop arriving. Silence moves into the house like a tenant. When his mother finally reaches him, her voice is, "Come home." "I never left," Aaron says. "You just stopped seeing me." The call ends. Weeks later, he stands in the doorway of the house he grew up in. His mother looks smaller, older, afraid. "I'm sorry," she says. "For what?" He asks. She can't answer. He places an envelope on the table and leaves without raising his voice. Inside is a printed photo from Mother's Day. The empty chair is circled. Below it, one sentence. "I learn a new city." Aaron turns off his phone and sits in the quiet he earned. No celebrations, no apologies, no return. The absence does the rest. The silence doesn't fade. It thickens in the new city. Aaron learns how quiet can feel heavier than noise. Mornings begin before sunrise. He runs. He showers. He reads reports no one else wants to touch. At work, his reputation grows without his name traveling too far. He prefers it that way. Power that announces itself gets challenged. Power that stays quiet gets obeyed. At night, memories come uninvited. Not loud ones, small ones. His mother folding laundry while watching the news. The way she corrected his posture at school events. The pause before she introduced him to people. Always followed by, "He works elsewhere." He never hated her. That's what hurts most. He trusted her. Back home, the house becomes a museum of unfinished conversations. His mother stops hosting. The dining table stays set for no one. She replays old voicemails just to hear his breathing between words. Friends stop asking about Aaron. Family stops mentioning him. The absence works better than anger ever could. A compliance officer calls Aaron late one evening. "Your name isn't on the paperwork," she says carefully. "But everything leads back to your systems." "I build systems that work," Aaron replies. "What people do inside them isn't my job." There's a pause. Respect settles in. "We're closing the foundation," she says. Aaron ends the call and sits in the dark. No smile, no relief. Just a clean, precise ending. His mother reads the notice alone at the kitchen counter. The words blur. Years of reputation collapse into paragraphs. She thinks of the brunch photo. The empty chair. For the first time, she sees loss. Weeks later, she tries again. No calls this time, just a letter handwritten. Careful. She admits she was afraid. Afraid of judgment. Afraid of explaining. Afraid of standing beside a life didn't translate well into polite conversations. She never asks forgiveness. She asks if he's safe. The letter reaches Aaron's mailbox on a rainy evening. He reads it once. Then again. He doesn't tear it up. He doesn't respond. He files it away. Some silences are earned. Others are chosen. At work, Aaron is offered a promotion that would put his face on press releases. He declines without hesitation. "I prefer leverage," he says. They give it to him. Months pass. The city changes seasons. Aaron changes apartments. Bigger, higher, quieter. He buys nothing sentimental. He keeps no photos. One afternoon, his sister finds him. She stands outside his building like someone waiting for a verdict. "You could have just talked to her," she says. Aaron doesn't invite her in. "I talk for years," he replies. "You just didn't hear it." She looks past him, as if expecting to see the brother she remembers. "He isn't there anymore. She's not well," the sister says. Aaron nods once. "I know." That night, Aaron dreams of the diner. The message on the screen. The fork hitting the floor. This time, he doesn't pick it up. He wakes before dawn and feels nothing. The final shift happens quietly. A new board takes control of the remnants of the foundation. One of them recognizes Aaron's work and asks him to consult. Privately, Aaron agrees. He restructures everything, removes names, erases legacies, makes it clean, anonymous, effective. When it's done, there's nothing left with his mother's imprint on it. Not revenge, correction. The house back home goes up for sale. His mother moves into something smaller. No dining room, no guest room, no space for illusions. She stops introducing herself by who her family is. She starts introducing herself by her name. It's too late to matter, but it changes her anyway. Years later, on another Mother's Day, Aaron eats alone in a quiet restaurant. No phone, no notifications, just food and space. A woman at the next table laughs too loudly. Someone posts a photo nearby. Flowers pass from hand to hand. Aaron pays and leaves before dessert. Outside, the city hums, alive, indifferent. He walks without rushing. He never returns home. He never explains. And somewhere, far away, his mother finally understands what the exclusion really cost. Not a son who disappeared, but a presence that would never come back. Aaron doesn't feel victorious. He feels finished. And that is enough. The next phase of his life doesn't announce itself. It settles in. Aaron stops measuring time by milestones and starts measuring it by control. Control of his mornings, control of his name. Control of how much access anyone gets to him. He becomes someone people consult quietly, someone whose approval carries weight without requiring visibility. He learns something important. Disappearance isn't weakness, it's leverage. Back in the smaller apartment his mother now lives in, Mother's Day passes like any other Sunday. No flowers, no calls, just the hum of the refrigerator and a TV she doesn't really watch. She cooks out of habit, then realizes there's no one to serve. The plate cools untouched. She opens old drawers, finds school papers, photos she once hid behind frames so guests wouldn't ask questions. She studies his face in them, earnest, hopeful, waiting for approval she rationed too carefully. For the first time she says his name out loud when no one is around. It sounds unfamiliar. Aaron's sister stops trying to reach him, not because she understands, but because she senses the door is no longer locked. It's gone. Their father mentions Aaron less and less, as if repetition might summon something painful. Eventually even the habit fades. Families adjust, even to loss they caused. One night Aaron attends a private dinner with people who own buildings, not just live in them. Someone mentions reputation. People remember everything, the man says. Aaron replies calmly, no, they remember what's convenient. No one argues. He starts funding things anonymously. Transit workers, vocational schools, quiet scholarships with no ceremonies. He doesn't attend events. He doesn't give speeches. He corrects the imbalance where he came from without needing credit for it. It feels cleaner than charity. It feels earned. Years slip by. Aaron's hair picks up gray at the edges. His posture straightens. His voice slows. People interrupt him less. When they do, they regret it quietly. One afternoon an assistant hands him a file. Your mother, she says. Medical power of attorney. She listed no one. Aaron flips through the pages. The handwriting is unsteady. The address unfamiliar. Find her a good advocate, he says. Someone fair. The assistant nods. He doesn't visit. The city celebrates another Mother's Day with banners and promotions. Later he sits alone on his balcony, watching lights blink on across buildings full of lives he'll never touch. He doesn't feel bitter. He doesn't feel sad. He feels exact. Far away. His mother senses something shift. Not forgiveness, not reunion, closure. She understands now that exclusion doesn't end when the event is over. It teaches people how to live without you. She taught him well. On a quiet evening, Aaron deletes the last saved voicemail from years ago. The one where she says his name without judgment, before everything fractured. He listens once, then lets it go. The revenge was never loud, never dramatic, never announced. It lived in the permanent absence of someone who could not be replaced, replicated, or recovered. Aaron doesn't look back. He doesn't need to. Some lessons don't echo. The years that follow don't soften the edges, they sharpen them. Aaron becomes someone whose calendar is booked months ahead, yet whose personal life remains intentionally blank. No partner, no children, no obligations that can be weaponized. People try to read him and fail. He never corrects their assumptions. Letting others misunderstand you is a form of insulation. He keeps moving cities, not running, just refining. Each place teaches him something new about power, about how quietly it can be applied when no one is looking for it. His mother ages faster than time should allow. The smaller apartment fills with medication bottles and appointment cards. Nurses come and go. Social workers speak gently, professionally, the way people do when they don't expect a family member to show up. Sometimes they ask, does she have a son? She answers once, yes. They don't ask again. One afternoon, Aaron stands in a glass elevator rising above a city he helped redesign from behind the scenes. Transit lines optimized, costs cut without layoffs, systems fixed so no one ever thanks him directly. That's the point. He watches his reflection in the glass. It doesn't accuse him, it doesn't praise him, it just exists. A journalist tries to profile him, digging, curious. Your background is hard to place, she says. Aaron smiles politely. She asks about family. He answers with silence. The article never runs. Back home, his mother suffers a minor stroke. Not enough to kill her, just enough to slow her speech, soften her certainty. She repeats stories now. Forgets endings, forgets why some rooms feel so empty. In moments of clarity, she remembers Aaron exactly as he was, never as he is. She tells a nurse, he's busy, he always was. The nurse nods without judgment. Aaron is notified through channels that feel more like courtesy than obligation. He arranges care upgrades anonymously. Better facilities, better specialists. He signs nothing. Leaves no trail. Mercy without access, help without return. It's the cleanest boundary he knows how to draw. On another Mother's Day, he's invited to speak at a closed-door conference. The irony doesn't escape him. He accepts anyway. Work doesn't carry memory the way people do. Afterward, someone thanks him for his values. Aaron thinks of the diner, the text message, the empty chair. Values are just behavior repeated often enough to feel moral. Late one night, he finds himself driving past a neighborhood that looks like his childhood one. Same trees, same narrow sidewalks. He doesn't stop, he doesn't slow down. Nostalgia is a luxury he never budgets for. His sister tries again years later, a voicemail this time, older voice tired. She doesn't have much time, she says. She asks about you, not always by name. But I know. Aaron listens, deletes it. Some endings don't need witnesses. In his office, a junior analyst asks him how to handle being underestimated. Aaron answers without looking up. Let it happen, he says. People reveal everything when they think you don't matter. The analyst nods, not fully understanding. Aaron does. The final notice comes on a quiet Tuesday. No dramatic phone call. Just a document delivered through official channels. Time of death, 'cause listed clinically, efficiently. Aaron reads it once. He feels nothing sharp, nothing sudden, just a dull recognition. He closes the file and continues working. The funeral is small, necessary. His sister scans the crowd once, then stops. She already knows. A photo of their mother sits beside flowers that feel performative. People speak about sacrifice, about love, about family. No one mentions exclusion. Aaron is absent the way only someone deliberate can be. Weeks later, he receives a package forwarded through an old address. Inside is a single object, the red circled photo from that long ago Mother's Day, the one he left behind. On the back, in shaky handwriting, a final line. I see it now. Aaron holds the photo for a long time. Then he places it in a drawer and locks it. Not as punishment, as punctuation. Life continues unbothered by closure. Aaron funds another program, shuts down another failing system, declines another invitation that would have made him visible. He builds a life that cannot be edited by anyone else's shame. Sometimes late at night, he wonders who he might have been if that message had never arrived. If the chair hadn't been empty. If love hadn't required translation. The thought passes, what matters is what exists. Years later, when people speak of him. As if names carry weight. As if absence can still rearrange rooms. Aaron never corrects them. He learned long ago that the most devastating response isn't confrontation. It's completion. And somewhere between exclusion and disappearance, he finished the story exactly the way it had been written for him. By walking out of it and never asking to be written back in. Aaron's life continues in a rhythm few could follow. Each morning is deliberate, no wasted time, no unnecessary conversation, no distractions he doesn't choose. The city around him pulses, but he moves in quiet, calculated steps. People pass by, some nod politely. Most never knowing the depth of what he carries or the patience it took to build it. He doesn't answer old numbers anymore. He doesn't open social media. He doesn't attend reunions or birthdays. These things no longer have power over him. Power had once been something he chased through recognition and approval. Now, he wields it invisibly, silently, and irrevocably. His mother's health declines slowly. Each update comes through the filtered channels of hospitals and administrators, never directly to him. Yet he knows every detail. He arranges for the best care without a word spoken. Rooms are cleaned, meals prepared. He tracks her progress with clinical precision. She doesn't know who does this. She never will. Perhaps she suspects vaguely, but the acknowledgement would change nothing. He is not here to be recognized. He is here to act efficiently, mercilessly, as he always has learned to be. Aaron spends nights in his apartment overlooking the city skyline. Glass reflects the neon lights back at him like 100 miniature worlds. He works on projects others would consider mundane, but these projects shape lives quietly. Transportation grids, educational programs, compliance initiatives, each a piece of a puzzle no one sees until the effect is undeniable. And still he remains unseen. He often thinks about the diner, the phone, the message. Don't come tomorrow, it's not appropriate. He replays it not with bitterness but with clarity. That moment defined everything. That exclusion, that deliberate dismissal, carved a path he would never walk back from. Occasionally someone tries to reach him. A cousin, a childhood friend, a distant relative. They call, email, leave messages. But Aaron has trained himself not to respond. Silence is more powerful than explanation. Silence communicates more than anger ever could. By the time anyone realizes it, they are irrelevant to him. He receives a letter from his sister once. She has aged, worry etched across her face in words she cannot hide. She mentions their mother in vague terms, hints at regret, asks questions he does not answer. He does not respond. The letter sits in a drawer for months before he burns it. Smoke curls toward the ceiling. He watches it disappear without a trace. Some things he understands must vanish to maintain their proper weight. Years pass in this quiet rhythm. Aaron's hair turns streaks of gray, his eyes retain their sharpness. His posture remains upright, commanding attention without needing to ask for it. People respect him in business, in life, without fully knowing why. That is the invisible strength he has honed, mastery without display, authority without announcement. He begins funding small initiatives anonymously, programs for youth, scholarships for those overlooked, infrastructure projects for cities that need quiet reinforcement. He never signs his name, he never appears at ceremonies. The impact spreads subtle but undeniable. He does not seek recognition. Power without exposure is the purest form of control. One evening years later, he drives past a neighborhood that resembles the one where he grew up. The streets, the trees, the angles of sunlight hitting the brick homes. He does not stop. He does not slow down. Nostalgia is a luxury he cannot afford. He allows only observation, no attachment. He knows his mother is aging. He knows her memory fades and her body weakens. Yet he remains distant, letting the lessons she taught in exclusion reverberate through time. He provides what is necessary, but never what is comforting. He understands the power of absence. It teaches more than presence ever could. A minor crisis occurs in the systems he has built. A hospital network mismanages data, and Aaron quietly intervenes. He fixes the errors, rebalances the workflow, and the network functions seamlessly again. No one ever thanks him. No one ever acknowledges him. That is intentional. Recognition would weaken the lesson. He works as a ghost, a force behind structure, untraceable but omnipotent. The first time he returns near his childhood home, he is cautious. He does not approach the house. He does not look at the windows. He only observes the trees, the narrow sidewalk, the fading paint on the front door, all familiar yet foreign. He imagines the empty chairs, the silences, the conversations he would never have. There is no desire to reclaim anything. That life ended long ago. He drives away without hesitation. At night in his apartment, Aaron reviews documents related to his mother's estate. Not to claim it, not to control it, but to understand it. Every detail is precise, every discrepancy noted, every irregularity addressed quietly through proxies. He ensures her legacy is stable, protected from the chaos she might have allowed in her fear of confrontation. He does this anonymously, his work a shield she will never know she needed. One day a small envelope arrives at his door. No return address inside. The red-circled photograph from the Mother's Day brunch decades earlier. The chair still empty. Beneath it, a single handwritten line, "I see it now." Aaron studies it, his fingers linger over the paper. He does not smile. He does not cry. He closes the envelope and places it in a drawer locked. No one will ever see it again. Not because of anger, but because the finality of absence is its own form of closure. Life moves forward in quiet cycles. Aaron continues to work, to observe, to influence without acknowledgement. His days are precise, his nights deliberate. The city hums around him, oblivious to the ghost in their midst who quietly shapes its structures, protects its weak, and punishes those who once underestimated him. He encounters people who ask for guidance. Young professionals underestimated by peers, dismissed by authority. He teaches them nothing directly. He shows them how to move silently, how to act without announcing themselves, how to make influence permanent without recognition. Finally, the day comes when he is summoned, by circumstance, not invitation, to confront his mother's final affairs. He reviews them quietly, signs what is necessary, and withdraws immediately. The process is efficient. There is no confrontation. There is no reconciliation. There is only the completion of responsibilities. Aaron walks away from it all, leaving behind a stabilized legacy, corrected errors, and invisible structures that will endure. He does not linger. He does not reflect. The absence he learned to master is complete. He sits alone in his apartment late at night, watching lights flicker across the city skyline. No one calls. No one waits. The quiet is profound, unbroken, and absolute. He contemplates the journey that began with exclusion, a message on a diner table, and an empty chair. Every step, every choice, every calculated silence leads to this mastery without acknowledgement, influence without interaction. In this quiet, Aaron is free, not from memory, not from experience, but from the expectations, judgments, and limitations imposed by those who once dismissed him. He has rewritten his existence silently. He will never return to the past. He will never explain. He will never apologize. The lesson has been learned. Absence is permanent. Absence is precise. And in its permanence, it is devastatingly complete. The story that began with exclusion ends not with confrontation, but with disappearance, and in that disappearance, Aaron's ultimate revenge is realized. The city sleeps, indifferent to the life Aaron has built. Streets glimmer under streetlights, traffic hums in rhythmic consistency, and the occasional siren passes like a punctuation mark. He walks alone, co-pulled tight, hands in pockets, face expressionless. To the world, he is another figure in the night, unnoticed. To himself, he is precisely where he belongs. He thinks of the empty chair at Mother's Day brunch, the message on the diner table, the laughter he was barred from hearing. Not with bitterness anymore, not with longing, but with quiet precision. Those moments, once raw and jagged, have become the foundation of his life. Every choice, every maneuver, every silent step toward control and power stemmed from that exclusion. It had taught him patience, invisibility, and the devastating strength of absence. Years pass in rhythm. He moves cities again, different apartment, different skyline, same calculated routines. Every morning begins before dawn. The streets are quiet, the air sharp, the world unaware of the presence moving among it. He exercises, reads, works. He checks in on the systems he built. Education programs, municipal projects, financial infrastructure, all functioning flawlessly without anyone knowing who keeps the machinery turning. He doesn't care if anyone notices. Influence is quiet. Control is silent. Recognition is weakness. One evening, he receives word his mother is critically ill, not enough to kill her outright, but enough to demand attention. The message comes through administrative channels. No call, no personal appeal. He does not rush. He does not hesitate. He arranges for the finest care, the most skilled doctors, the highest quality facilities. Every decision he makes is precise, anonymous. There is no need for acknowledgement. Mercy, after all, need not be performative. He does not go home. He does not visit. His presence would undo everything he has learned to master, the lesson of absence. Instead, he monitors, intervenes, protects, all from a distance. He is a ghost, more powerful than any visible presence could ever be. Weeks pass. Reports arrive detailing her condition, improving, stabilizing, faltering, recovering. Aaron reads them all. He adjusts schedules, reallocates resources, ensures medication compliance, and silently instructs the staff handling her care. No one knows he exists, except in the subtle changes he orchestrates behind the scenes. At night, he sits in his apartment overlooking the city lights. Reflection in glass mirrors him back, aging slightly, hair touched with gray but eyes sharp and calculating. He remembers the diner, the fork that hit the floor, the humiliating messages. He remembers the silent judgment he received, the invisible wounds that cut deeper than anyone could see. That boy, excluded and humiliated, would have cried or begged or screamed. The man standing now does not. The man stands with quiet, irrevocable authority. Occasionally, someone reaches out, a sister, a cousin, an old friend. She leaves a voicemail, her voice trembling, speaking of regret, of memories, of longing for connection. He does not return the call. The message sits in a folder. Weeks later, he deletes it. Some things are meant to vanish. Some lessons must remain unlearned by those who inflicted them. He continues his life in cycles of work, silence, observation. He funds scholarships anonymously. He strengthens infrastructures for communities no one remembers. He supports individuals who would have been invisible without their knowledge. He intervenes when errors or corruption occur, quietly, efficiently, and invisibly. Recognition would compromise the lesson, and lessons learned are permanent when they are invisible. Years later, the final notice arrives: his mother has passed. There is no drama, no confrontation, no plea for forgiveness. Aaron receives only the clinical summary, the document detailing dates, times, and circumstances. The magnitude of his absence is complete. He does not attend the funeral. He does not speak. He does not mourn publicly. The world expects grief, but grief in public is performative. Grief in private is strategic. He ensures her care is complete, her estate is orderly, and her legacy is secure. Every misstep, every oversight, every vulnerability has been quietly corrected without acknowledgement. The final lesson has been delivered. Absence speaks louder than presence. In the weeks that follow, a package arrives at Aaron's current apartment. Inside is the long-forgotten photo from that Mother's Day brunch, the chair circled in red. Beneath it, a single sentence, handwritten: "I see it now." There is no signature, no apology, no explanation, just acknowledgement. He studies it for a long moment. He does not feel triumph. He does not feel rage. He closes the envelope and locks it in a drawer. Some truths, he understands, must be observed but never addressed, preserved but never activated. He continues his routines. He walks city streets unnoticed. He observes human behavior, influences outcomes, corrects mistakes, and educates silently. Young professionals seek his guidance, unaware of his identity. He teaches them indirectly: patience, discretion, and strategic silence. Lessons imparted without presence carry weight that visibility never can. Aaron reflects occasionally on the boy he once was, excluded, humiliated, unseen. That boy's pain shaped the man he became. Every act of omission, every strategic absence, every calculated intervention is a tribute to that formative moment. He honors it silently, through meticulous precision and the quiet reshaping of the world around him. As another Mother's Day approaches, he sits alone on a balcony, the city sprawling beneath him. Families gather, celebrate, laugh. Notifications buzz. Messages arrive. He does not engage. He observes, learns, and continues. The lesson of absence remains complete. The impact of exclusion reverberates across time, silent but immutable. Finally, Aaron turns off the lights in his apartment, leaving the city hum to fill the void. He does not speak. He does not write. He does not announce himself. The life he has built, the power he has exercised, the revenge he has enacted, and the lessons he has delivered exist only in their consequences. He has become a master of absence, a ghost in plain sight, a force whose effect is measured not in recognition but in irrevocable outcomes. The story ends quietly. Without confrontation, without reunion, without apology, the absence is absolute. The lesson is permanent. The chair is empty. The boy is gone. The man remains fully realized, silently victorious. And in that quiet, deliberate conclusion, the ultimate revenge is achieved. Aaron has rewritten the narrative of his life. Not by fighting the world that dismissed him, but by moving through it unseen, shaping it with precision, and leaving nothing to chance. The exclusion that once cut him now defines him, preserved in silence, perfected in action, and immortal in consequence. The world moves on, people forget. Families mourn in ritual, but the true impact, the quiet devastation of absence, the power of the unseen remains. Aaron walks through life unbothered, invisible, and untouchable. The lesson is clear: presence can be ignored, but absence cannot. He never returns home. He never exclaims. He never asks for recognition. He is finished. And in the silence of his perfected, deliberate life, the revenge is complete.